there are more answers than you know.
Each had multiple stab wounds. Some had defensive wounds, showing they fought with the attacker. And there was no sexual assault. County Coroner Kathy Mabbutt is describing the murders as personal.
You know, but for real, it would not be the beginning of a live stream without my girl. And all the amazing work that she did not do. Welcome, everybody. I am so glad you're here. I haven't seen some of you in a long time, and it's wonderful to see you. Oh, wait, I didn't want to bring that up just yet. Okay, very good. And I'm just going to be really brief about this one, but I am not going to ever pay StreamYard another cent. I get so many problems with them. They just keep kicking me off, kicking me off, kicking me off. I've heard other creators saying that. So there's got to be another solution. I don't know what that is. What other services do people use? Please put suggestions in the comment section here or email me at whatsuppsession@gmail.com. Can't take it anymore. They just are not, their service is just not the quality that we need, right? So that's it. So, all right. So welcome back to Watch the Obsession live stream and chat. I don't know if I said that yet. And tonight we are going to be talking about the Idaho court case, State of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger at this point in the pre-trial phase, heading swiftly towards a trial. Just kidding. I'm lying. This trial is not going to happen until, I don't know. It's going to be, what's 2023 now? Right. Okay. So we're going into 2024. I truly think 2026. What do you guys think? We're seeing all these little intricacies and these things and these games that are played in the pre-trial phase and all the red tape and the filings and the responses and the motions that are happening. And I just think it's really never going to get underway. That's what it feels like to me. Oh, does anyone know or want to guess the one true crime channel that I watch like all the time that covers the Idaho 4 case? I really don't watch a lot of YouTube on it at all. I don't like to. Other cases, I really enjoyed watching other channels. This one, I'm just like, no. Does anyone know what that channel is that I watch all the time? There's just one. And I think you might be surprised. And I think a lot of you probably watch it too. I used to not like it so much. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to think about that. I want to just know if anybody can guess it. But I have a message for that creator too, and some other creators. Because after not looking at anything on YouTube or social media about this case for a couple weeks while I was attending to other responsibilities in life, when I was going through things, kind of in a focused way, looking at a lot of different things, I was like, shit, man, y'all are desperate right now. We have reached a peak level of desperation for content on this case when, the obvious, topics are not available because of the, in my opinion, overly broad and overly strict gag order, among other things. And so you just start really grasping at straws or making shit up. But we knew about the making stuff up for a while. But I'll say more about that in a moment. One thing at a time. Steve Goncalves, all right? So during the last live stream we did, which was just 2 nights ago, I'm spoiling you guys this week because there's a live stream tomorrow night, Friday night too. Not on this case, but I hope you can be here. It'll be at 9:30, probably a few minutes late, like usual, Eastern time. So Steve Goncalves family, so as we all know, Steve and Christy Goncalves are married. They have a beautiful family. I think they are beautiful people. I still have that opinion of them. Nobody is perfect. This channel, our main goal is to create a community where we can discuss human behavior and the things that weigh heavily on our minds and that we are curious and fearful of in ourselves and one another. And that those are the same reasons why so many people are just fascinated and in a weird way feel comforted by, watching a lot of true crime content that is a psychology fact, evidence-based, tried and true, data proven. So anyway, nobody is perfect on this channel. In addition to studying human behavior, like I just kind of went off about, we are here to support justice for the victims. And, we stand for, and I feel like there's so very little I can do or we can do, but a greater peace for these families, because I know most of our hearts absolutely break for them. Understanding they are not perfect people, this channel will always support the victims' families, all of them, wholeheartedly. So that is just like how it is. I ask that everybody is respectful towards the victims' family members, particularly in this very sensitive time when child is beginning. Anyhow, just the other day, this young woman whose name is Samantha put a video on TikTok, and apparently, and I just remember this very vaguely, she had put up another video a while back. And you know what? Without further ado, I'm going to let her speak for herself, because everything I could tell you in introducing her, certainly she tells her story better herself. I don't want to express my opinion at all about anything she says here. I want to hear from you guys first, but I have very strong opinions, not necessarily about what was said in the video, some yes, but how some people are reacting to it. And yeah. Okay, I'll say more about that in just a little bit. All right. Oops.
It's almost been a year.
Okay, here's Samantha. Listen carefully, please, to what she said.
So since it is almost been a year since the anniversary of my sister's death, I wanted to go on here and talk about my dad, Steve Goncalves, and elaborate on my perspective on things and how it's affected my life. I didn't know how to go about that. I don't know how to go about that. So I decided that I would write from a journal entry that I wrote today. And I feel really vulnerable doing this. So anyway, this is what I wrote today. Hi, Steve. I'm really feeling exactly why I've been so bothered by Steve. I understand now that when he would write me for all those years, I did not have a fixed idea or example of what his voice would sound like or how his movements would look while speaking. Seeing him on the screen so often expressing his love for his daughter and the deep sadness that he feels because she is gone is all expressions that I wanted him to have for me. feel like I owe my sister an apology for why I'm so upset with him, because it doesn't have anything to do with her, just like her death doesn't have anything to do with me. But we are still intertwined nonetheless.
Wait, yeah. So it's Honey Bunny is saying in chat. I'm sorry, I asked you the question about the channel, and I will tell you. And you named a lot of good channels, and I watch most of those occasionally, except for one I don't ever watch because I just can't stand it. But and you know which one that is, Angel. So I didn't mean to distract you, but it's Honey Bunny saying this is, and some of you may have heard this or seen this already. I still suggest that you listen carefully. I mean, this is really compelling and profound. It truly is. And I started a hashtag, let Sam speak, because some people are being, again, I'm going to let her speak first because hashtag let Sam speak, but please do listen.
Her unaliving shows me exactly the capability that Steve has to be a father. I didn't get that, and she did. Please bear with me because I don't really want people to get the wrong idea here. I'm just trying to express myself. Okay. Her death shook an entire nation. And when I was told not to speak about it, it really hurt. And when I found out I wasn't allowed to speak to my dad about it, and the media and TikTok especially had all sorts of accusations and borderline obsessions about the case, and I was blasted for simply asking people to remember that the victims have families and that the subject is sensitive. This resulted in my other sister, Olivia, going online accusing me of gaining clout off of Kaylee's death. Obviously, this wasn't my intention at all. And though I was not allowed to talk to Kaylee often, her and I did connect via Facebook and other platforms. And Olivia and I did spend physical time together on more than one occasion because she was the oldest besides myself, and it was more appropriate. Steve got my mom pregnant as a teenager and left us both. He also refused to let my stepdad adopt me at the time, and always had this unspoken claim over me that I think he wanted to keep a reminder that I am in fact his child. I don't really know why that is to this day. Exactly. But over the duration of my entire life, we spoke.
And I do want to say, and I'm going to let Sam speak, I do have to share with you a very personal story about circumstances of my life where I very much relate to this young woman. It's not as myself as someone's child, but myself as a parent. And, you know, I think even not related to this case, the message she has and the emotions that she is so freely sharing with everyone are extremely valuable. And we need to hear her message.
In private through thousands of emails since I was a child. His wife would never approve of this.
Okay, so she's saying that she and Steve have exchanged thousands of emails since she was a child, and she wanted to get to know her. They would be her half sisters and half brother better. Kelly Olivia, Steve Jr. Right? Is that the son's name? Wow, my brain. I don't know why I do these live streams so late. My brain gets mushy. Tapioca pudding. But she says, and Steve and she calls him Steve, have exchanged thousands of emails over the years. But his wife has always been disapproving, and she still is now, and she would not be cool with that. Now, I do want to say, please remember the rules. Please be respectful to the victims' families. First of all, we do not know the full story before anyone gets kind of triggered by what she's saying here, if you can relate to that. And, maybe Christy was kind of like, I don't know, but maybe we just don't know. But this is her perspective, and it's important.
And always shut me down every time or ignored me entirely when I would try to reach out to my sisters and my brother. So being told to go underground and keep to myself after all this really set me into a really dark night of the soul. Seeing my dad's face and some of the more unsettling comments opened an abandonment issue, an abandonment wound that I thought I had since healed by the connection that I had developed with Steve before this had happened. In a lot of ways, Steve became my best friend, And even though I had never met him in person since I was a very young child, I still had a lot of love and a lot of curiosity about my family and where it came from, and that never went away. I watched him and my sisters grow up through the pictures he would send me, and I felt like I knew Kaylee. Since she was a little girl. And I
And
was kept
guys, just
secret
like,
long
I
before
just
she
want
even knew
to,
about me.
just imagine that. I mean, and just like you're saying, Honey Bun, I've watched this video again and again. When somebody mentioned it the other night during a live stream, it just came out as far as I know. I didn't want to say anything about it or put it up because I wanted to check it out first. I have thoroughly background checked a lot of this here, and this is all accurate. Everything she is saying, nothing is embellished, nothing is exaggerated, nothing is lied about, nothing is made up. She is just speaking from her heart. And her experience is, imagine how confusing this was for her growing up as a little girl. And, teenagers are always confused, right? And, even now, and then everything that's happened, and then seeing her father on TV. And again, I am not criticizing anyone in the Goncalves family, but then seeing her father on TV just pouring out his heart every single day for the daughter that he has so much love for. And she is also that daughter of his. And all she probably ever wanted was his love. And she never got it. It's so heartbreaking.
I had no desire to force myself into their family when I was again repeatedly told that Steve was given an ultimatum to either choose me or his other children by his wife, Christy. So needless to say that he chose his other family. And I respected that. However, I always held hope that I'd get to meet them all someday, especially because I really enjoyed the time that I did get to spend with Olivia. And I would have given anything to meet Kaylee. God, it's hard to read. Perfect strangers are grieving her death, but I'm not supposed to, and I'm her blood relative. I changed my last name from Samantha Goncalves to Samantha Nelson when I was 18 because it felt like the only thing I had control over, and I wasn't part of that side of my family. Even though I looked like Steve and I had his wit and apparently his mannerisms, I still wasn't a true Goncalves. I also wanted to have the same last name as my little sisters on my mom's side because being a big sister was very important to me. Since Kaylee's been taken away from us, I'll never be given the chance to do that in whatever way that might have looked like in all the ways that I had dreamt of. I didn't get to say goodbye either. I was hardly even given the opportunity to say hello without her mother knowing. I'm by no means trying to bash my dad or his wife for that matter, but I had to deal with this all alone. And when this happened, it really just, it spiraled.
Oh, and Sam, we are so sorry for you. And I'm so sorry she has to go through all this. This just breaks my heart. We're here for you, Sam. There's so many people that support you. If you ever hear this, I just feel so sorry that she has had to endure all of this alone. It is so much. I mean, she's amazing for waking up every day and getting through this.
Me in the wrong direction. It really triggered a lot of abandonment wounds, and that resulted in me self-medicating in unhealthy ways. I started drinking a lot and isolating, and basically everybody was fixated on Kaylee's death, and I was in a fight for my life that Steve completely disregarded.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had made my first initial video, Steve told me to take it down because it had caused drama in their family. And I by no means was trying to make things more challenging for him. I had no desire to look like I had dropped into victim mentality, and I had enough emotional awareness to know that I needed to get some help processing this too. So I got help with sobriety, and I weaved in and out of rehab and Oxford houses, and really working on my mental health. And that being said, I'm aware that this case is bigger than me and it doesn't have anything to do with me in a lot of ways, but it did affect my life. And if I could speak to Kaylee today, I would tell her that I'm so incredibly sorry that this happened to her, and that she was and is so loved, that she has millions of people praying and fighting for justice for her. And I'd tell her that I don't understand why this happened to her. And I'd express how thankful that I am that she had a dad, that I didn't, because all little girls deserve that. So yeah, this year I just want to reiterate for people to be kind on the internet, and yeah, that's all I have to say about that right now.
Aw, oh my gosh. Yeah, let Sam speak. And yes, everybody does deserve a voice. And, I know everyone has their own opinions on this, and yours are just as valid as mine after watching this so many times and just, doing all those behavioral analysis therapist things that I do. And again, I also fact checked everything she said that's fact checkable. No doubt in my mind. This is super, super genuine. She just broke open her soul for the whole world to, it's such a vulnerable place that she's in. And this channel officially supports Sam and her right to speak without being harassed, and her right to have her feelings. And I just ask that as a true crime community, we perhaps do that without immediately jumping to the other side of trashing Steve or Christy Goncalves, because I do not believe they deserve that. Okay. As this young woman said, her mother got pregnant when Steve and the mother were in high school. I mean, what position to be in. I'm sure some people here have been in that position. I had my son when I was like a month. I was going to turn like 29 in a month. And I remember I was like, after I had, just like, before I gave birth and after I had him, I was like, who the fuck let me have a baby? I don't do this thing. I'm not grown up yet. I'm a kid myself. I felt like that at 29, right? So considering, Steve and Sam's mother, what we're going through this when they were in high school, I'm willing to bet that everybody did the very best they could, made the best decisions they could at the time. I know that Steve and Christy met when they were pretty young, and her characterization of Christy being disapproving of his relationship with Sam, or Christy's birth children's relationship with Sam. We have to remember we do not know the whole story, and we also do have to cut Christy some slack. She had dreams for her life. We don't know what was going on with Steve and Sam's mother. Maybe there was an issue of, I'm just making this up. I'm just thinking, having gone through something very similar myself, the issues that come up, exorbitant child support payments, or somebody blackmailing the other person, or just very normal, confused human emotions. When your own child is out there somewhere and you want to be with them, but you also want something very different, very badly, which is a normal part of, that stage of life, right? So come on, people. Seriously, I was planning on coming on tonight and naming every single channel that I could find that was being an asshole about this whole situation, either towards Sam or towards the Goncalves parents. I've decided I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'll change my mind. I'm a little bit moody today. I had a really rough week at work. Thank God we have tomorrow off. And hate veterans, you are the bomb. Thank you so much for your service. But there's a number of them. Some of them you guys mentioned is the possible only channel that I find myself watching all the time about the Idaho case. And Angel D, just hold on, take a deep breath. Make sure you're sitting down, okay? Now, that does not mean that I always love this channel, or that I always agree with the content, or that, sometimes I am just like, dude, seriously, you're way smarter than that, man. You are way smarter than that. You seem like a genuine person. Stop spitballing your way through first, second, third video of the day. If there's not a video to make, sometimes don't force the content. But then sometimes I just adore harsh reality. So that's the one that I've just found myself for the past few months. I watch it almost every day. Sometimes I love what he says. Sometimes I think he's awesome, super professional, just, a step above other true crime creators on YouTube. And sometimes I'm just like, are you duping me? But, I think he's a generally good guy and a good creator. And I don't know why right now I've been on a harsh reality kick, but harsh reality, cheers to you for catching my attention for more than 10 minutes a day, because that is not an easy thing to do recently. All right. And that's all there is to it. I'm so sorry, Angel D. I don't mean to break your heart, honey. I know. A few of the other ones, Drunk Turkey Show, I do catch frequently. I do have a little bit of bone to pick with Drunk Turkey Show. And Daniel, boys, you do know I love you, but I am going to be honest. Like the whole thing about Bryan Kohberger might have an identical twin. I mean, that was one of the videos that I saw, just seeing the title. And then I watched a little, then I was like, I just can't right now. It's making my stomach hurt. That made me think of the words peak desperation. Come on, guys, let's not be desperate. There's like a lot of important things to talk about in the world and in the true crime community, right? But I do like Drunk Turkey Show. Yeah. Thank you, Tina, because Angel's definitely mad at me and other people might be as well. Oh, I didn't? Okay, all right. I watched some of it, but maybe, okay. Daniel is here saying that I'm not being fair, and that is quite possible. All right, so I'm going to have to temporarily retract my statement, except for the part about I love those guys, because I do. And maybe I better watch the whole video. Wah, wah, wah. I learned a lesson right on my own channel. Woo! You did it, didn't you? Didn't you, Angel D? You did it. You said Drunk Turkey Show 3 times. Remember that? That was really funny when you said that. And who else did you guys say? I don't know. I don't want to be like, I don't feel like being mean about people. So the ones I like, Plunder, of course. Plunder is amazing. I used to watch Plunder like obsessively, but I don't as much anymore. But she's just fantastic. Always, all the time. Absolutely, positively. And now I have another item on the list of my things to do on my nice long weekend. Good thing it's 3 days, is to watch Drunk Turkey Show's video on the identical twin all the way through. One of the reasons I was like, I don't think I can watch this, was because I got a couple emails from some people who apparently, I don't know, obviously, because I didn't watch the whole thing, either. And I had a preconceived notion, so fair enough. Oh yeah, maybe he was. Yeah, I think that's probably what he's saying. Okay, so I should have watched the whole thing. Okay. Tara B says, I thought Drunk Turkey Show was making fun of that possibility. Tara B, you may very well be right. And Laura Williamson, hi, Laura loves Drunk Turkey Show. Yes. Okay. All right. So, well, hey, I say all the time, been wrong before, I'll be wrong again, and I could be wrong now. Ding, 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 ding. You guys just caught me in okay, I am wrong now. So yeah, thank you. I'm always willing to make that correction for sure. I am always seeking the truth and nothing but the truth, but got to be careful to not jump to conclusions before you have all the information. I mean, I was just making that point, right? So I got to take my own advice. Oh. Okay. So Drunk Turkey Show says, good. I want to read this. Let me enlarge this. I'm sorry if it made you feel like you had to defend yourself and I was wrong about it. I just so happened to jump on, but the defense's argument is there could be a BK relative that was close to the 1122 King Road residence, meaning the defense is saying there's a twin. Oh, I see. I didn't catch I've been really tired and stressed out. I think I just was tone deaf to your tone, probably, I guess. Yeah, because that is to be made fun of. All right. So let's not criticize anyone else other than the defense. Let's go. So that's another thing that we need to discuss this evening are the real issues that are at play in the trial, if there are any at this point. Well, of course there are. It is a quadruple homicide trial where the death penalty is on the table, and these are important matters of life and death, human rights, rights within this country that I was going to say created, but copied the great idea of democracy. But that's okay. It's a good idea. We just got to roll it out correctly at this point. So let me grab something here. Oh, J Lord says, and I didn't see this video yet. Says, Harsh did stand up like a man for Samantha, and he wins 5,000 cool points. That's awesome. I'm really super glad to hear that. Yeah. Did you catch any of the channels that were? I mean, there were a couple people that I'm done with them because of the way I don't know. I thought it was just so, it's like ignorant. I don't know. I was like, well, I don't feel like I can relate to this person who seems to have no human compassion or empathy. Like, what is that? I can't. I don't know. Anyway, hi, Truth Seeker. How are you doing? I think this is a good point. She says, I love Harsh. I think he gives perspective of the case that needs to be considered. I generally think that too. Yeah. I don't even know who Cluminati is. Sometimes I hear these names of true crime channels. I'm like, who the hell is that? Cluminati destroying Samantha. I couldn't believe it. Well, there. Okay, so Cluminati goes on my shit list. Never even got to check the channel out. Good job, Cluminati. Drunk Turkey Show is back in my 100% good graces. Cluminati moving over to the shit list. All right, we got that straight now. Oh my god. You're sure split. I definitely don't watch Crime Circus religiously, but I find when I do catch a video and I don't go, oh my god, what in God's name is this time? I watch it all the way through and I'm very interested. And I think it's usually pretty compelling. Again, not to say that I always agree with everything, but who agrees with everything anyone does? Okay. We're gonna move on now. Who's this? Okay. It has nothing to do with true crime. It's a friend of mine who was telling me he moved back to New York City. Okay. Okay, so a question that was posed in a video that I'm not going to comment any further on because I just learned I better not do that. I watched about a minute of it and I saw the title, obviously, that Harsh Reality happened to post, said, oh gosh, I should probably find something to the matter, like who really has an alibi anyway, and the thumbnail is, Kohberger, the roommates, the surviving roommates. And I have heard him on that channel and people on other channels, speculate about, well, hey, when you lay it all out, guys, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but this is like the basic theory that I need to take up issue with. When you lay it all out, really, Bryan Kohberger's reported alibi via, his defense team is equal to whatever they're expecting us to believe about, say, Bethany Funk or Dylan Mortensen, or, hey, even the victims. We don't even know where Xana and Ethan were for that 5 hours. Well, I just think that is such a bunch of BS. And it's hard for me to understand. I really do respect that everybody has their own opinion. It's informed by a number of different things, and I am not in their brain. So, hey, they can have their opinion. That is good. That is cool. That is what creates conversation. That's what sorts issues out. As long as you're not being having a psychotic break when you're stating your opinion, I think it's all good for the most part. But it's hard to understand this phenomenon of why so many people feel it is absolutely necessary to create logically disjointed, rationally unsound arguments in order to try to say that this man is innocent. When, guys, all of the evidence that is out there, and hey, if you don't agree with me, you know, this is my opinion. I'm asking you to be cool enough with it like I'm cool enough with yours. All the evidence out there that is available to us indicates it's hard to think that he's not guilty. And as I mentioned during the last live stream a couple nights ago, I work with some people who are, well, they're retired law enforcement now, because here in New York State, you put 20 years in, you get a sweet ass retirement, and you move on to your second career, which in this case still has to do with law enforcement, but it also works with me. Every single person that I've spoken to who knows anything about this case is like, absolutely. I mean, you know, I believe he is. I'd be shocked if he wasn't guilty. And I do believe that he could commit this crime on his own, as I know that's another point of contention people have. He could have committed the crime on his own. Just one second here. Let me just try to. Oh, don't say WSU, Kim. Be careful, Kelly. Don't say more challenging. Don't say it 3 times, Angel. Good Lord. Well, and you know what? Bring it on. If she came here right now, I have statements. I have statements ready to roll. Oh my God. Freaking nutcase. I hope everybody understands at this point that WSU Kim is a complete catfish. That is fact. So I think everybody basically knows that at this point. And I think I know who put her on the hook and cast her out to off the boat to see what she could. Never mind. What's that? Speaking of law enforcement, while I'm finding the video relating to this case that I want to play, I uploaded this in my short videos today. A couple people had sent it to me just over the past week when I checked my email. My son says he saw it a few months ago. Maybe you guys have seen it, but I just think this video is absolutely breathtaking. It's an example of a model police officer. Just gonna take a moment to have a little good example of law enforcement break. Which page am I sharing there? No, I'm gonna share that page. I'm gonna share this page.
Put it down. You don't want to end it this way. You don't want to end it this way, brother. I promise you. Whatever happened today, it can be fixed. Don't pull the trigger. Put it down. Come toward me. My gun is only out because I don't know what you're going to do. When you get to over here, I'm going to have you, listen to me. I'm going to have you lay down on the ground, and my gun is going in my holster. I promise you. Walk toward me with your hands up. I'm going to walk you through every process. Please don't pick that back up. Got you, dog. I'm telling you, I got you. You made such a good choice putting it down, bro. Just leave it on the ground, Hadim. Walk all the way out. All the way. Keep coming. Keep coming to me. Keep coming to me. Keep coming. I'm going to tell you when to stop. Keep coming to me, bud. The pavement's going to be hot. What I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you lay down in the grass. 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 Watch. Lay all the way down. My gun is going in its holster. Somebody's got cover. I don't want to hurt you, bro. I do not want to.
Where is he? Isn't that amazing? Oh my God. I can't believe, if this is a 2 months old, I cannot believe I haven't seen that yet. Kudos to that amazingly awesome human being and professional cop, man. That just blew me away. I thought that was freaking awesome. Awesome. See, somebody said she's in another chat right now. That's so funny because I saw yeah. And I will say this though, I will say this, and I feel fine saying this too, and this does not involve Daniel or DTS. Shame on you, channel creators who are still bringing her on your channel, and in doing so, exploiting the victims and their family members who hopefully are suffering to a much greater degree than you shameful channel creators can possibly even imagine. Because I hope you don't ever suffer the way these family members are suffering right now. But y'all, you got to stop it, because first of all, you are poisoning the messaging in this case. You are confusing people as to what is fact and what is fiction. It's very understandable why people are confused on that right now, you know? And that's why we work so hard here, except for when we make mistakes, admittedly, to keep straight what is fact and what is fiction. And I know other channels do as well, and those channels are awesome. But additionally, you know what you're doing? All you creators who are still bringing her on your channel, you are feeding into her own mental illness. And that's kind of like a cruel thing to do, honestly, in my opinion. And any of you creators who are still doing that probably are not listening, but in the off chance that you are, please email me at whatsobsession@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to share further that perspective with you and give you all of the psychological studies that back up the statement I just made. We cannot enable people like that unless we want to help them spiral deeper into a very dangerous mental illness that could endanger their lives or someone else's. So y'all, stop it with these like people coming on like the WSU Kims of true crime. Stop it. You're doing everyone a disservice. You might make a couple extra bucks today, but in the long run, it's not even going to add up like in dollars and cents for you. So there's that. Okay, so another thing, as far as talking about Bryan Kohberger's alibi. And the alibi, as many of you know, is that he likes to go out for drives. And listen, I get it. People like to go out for drives. Understood. I'm not by any means debating that. Whatever makes your world go around, life is hard by all means. No judgment there. But, Bryan Kohberger just happens to like to go out for rides. It's this secret passion that he has that nobody really knew about prior to it having to come about as the defense for him when he's charged with 4 homicides and, a burglary charge. It happened to be just around the time at night when this quadruple homicide and burglary occurred, which, by the way, is like 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning on a Sunday night when you've got school and teaching the next day, but whatever. And also, yeah, he was driving around, but not on not in front of 1122 King Road. So, that is very specific and ridiculous. And to say that his alibi is as strong as Bill Mortensen's or Bethany Funk's is just absolutely, that's just freaking laughable, or even the victims. Here, just one second. I'm having a bad time multitasking. Let me just grab this video and then I can flow. Here it is. What do you guys, well, no, I'm going to ask you afterward. What do you think about his alibi? But I don't know what some of you think, and I would like to hear what you do think. And not to mention, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I forgot this little piece of info after I took a little break from this case for a couple of weeks. Not to mention that we do know, and I have looked into this myself, and I am telling you, I will debate this with anybody who is claiming that Bryan Kohberger's car, 2015 Hyundai Elantra, is not with one license plate instead of the traditional 2, because that makes a lot of sense. Pennsylvania. So confused when I moved to Philadelphia. I'm like, why don't we have 2 license plates? Because there's a lot of crime around here. Bryan Kohberger's 2015 Hyundai Elantra, and I'm going to make this point again because I can't even tell you how many comments, emails, angry ones people have about this issue. Bryan Kohberger's car was equipped with a telemetry style computer in the engine, where if you watch the Alec Murdaugh case, think Alec Murdaugh. That is not to be confused with the GPS or navigation system that one might look for when they're shopping for a new car as part of the sports or upgrade package. Those two things are completely different. That navigation and GPS system that you use while you're driving is not a computer that is in the engine of your car, because obviously that makes no sense. What we do know, this is fact, all models of 2015 Hyundai Elantra, the kind of make, model, year Bryan Kohberger had, were equipped with that telemetric recording computer that exists in the engine of the car. When I finally was able to find some people who, that's their wheelhouse and they knew what they were talking about, every single one of them said absolutely, after sometimes having to do a little bit of research. Well, okay, I'll take this. So I enjoy a healthy debate. I don't like the snide comments that anyone who thinks he's innocent doesn't know what they're talking about. I didn't say that. I said I find it hard to understand, and I'd even come to the point of being like, I do not understand, where people come up with that line of logic. And what I really don't understand is what I consider to be a psychological phenomenon that is occurring within the true crime community and over social media, that so many people are married to the idea that the free Bryan Kohberger, he's a patsy. This was pinned on him, despite of the overwhelming evidence that we only know a small portion of. It is a social psycho phenomenon right now, and I'm trying to understand it, since psychology is my jam. I'm a behavioral therapist, so that is what I said. And I'm sure you're an intelligent person, and thank you for being here. Let's see. That's true. You always have said you're waiting for trial. And really, that is the best thing one can do if they want all the answers, right? Because we do know that among all of that evidence that was collected and analyzed, unlike in the Chris Hunt case, there is so much of it. And we know how little we have been privy to. So, I mean, really, truly, crime, crochet, or my hyper focus, and anyone else who maintains that kind of statement is their thinking and their mantra. That really is probably the wisest statement you could make on everything. Jody is cool. As soon as the snide comment comes out, I disengage. So you thought it was a snide comment too? I don't know. I didn't know. I should have. Welcome. I hadn't seen you yet. I didn't realize you were engaged. Welcome though. Okay, so all right. So hold it just one second. I'm reading chat because there's some things we need to discuss. Well, that's a good point. I'm going to read this from Drunk Turkey Show. I don't mind interviewing Kim or anyone else with a different opinion. They bring a different crowd. I see it as an opportunity to educate facts to those who haven't seen due to following biased creators. That's a very good point. And, I have certainly considered that possible benefit when thinking a lot about this WSU Kim issue, because you probably know how I feel about it. And I know she's a fraud, and I understand why. I'm not saying it has anything to do with you. And she has caused a lot of pain for a lot of people. So then what I think, after having a similar thought to the good logic that Daniel is putting forth there, is, okay, that's fine. So it's bringing a different crowd of people, possibly can educate them. Fine. Okay, so when I am looking in my channel's mission statement, it has always been part of it. I don't remember the exact wording. I haven't changed it since the channel started. That one of the things that's important to me as the creator of this channel is that we're able to have an open and honest discussion about issues of justice and human behavior and other things that human beings want to talk about without causing any undue harm to others. And I've told people, during live streams and things, if I ever feel like this channel is causing undue harm to others, this channel will stop, because I am not all about that in any aspect of my life. It's always been very important to me that I'm aware of, to the degree I can be, and I'm a human being, so I don't always know everything, obviously, but I'm not okay with, I don't always feel that I can make the decision, well, this benefit that I am, thinking about, that's logical, that could kind of balance out this evil, that good is going to be greater than the harm that this woman is causing. Serious, real life, deep down, fucked up harm to the victim's family members, to the victim's close friends, to the University of Idaho community as a whole. And it goes so far beyond that. I've spoken about it in greater details at various points on different live streams on this channel. I'm not willing to hash it all out in one live stream, because I no longer feel comfortable putting out that much vulnerable information. I just don't feel comfortable with it, because people like WSU Kim continue to be featured and entertained without making the statement for those who are hosting her. And I am certainly not specifically talking about your channel, Daniel, at all. Wasn't even thinking about your channel when I started talking about that. If they were to say, hey, listen, we've got this woman on, she is a proven catfish, she is proven to have 38 different alt accounts, that's my contribution. It's right here in front of me in black and white. I've sent the report to many of you, and other people have discovered other things. It seems very likely that she is dealing with mental illness. Her behavior and, these various indicators, tell trained professionals or just people with common sense that she probably is suffering from a rather serious mental illness. So here I'm so glad that y'all came here, because you're following these biased channels, and now I can tell you about some stuff that's not biased, and that is good, but you need to know what you're dealing with here. I think this is just my personal opinion, for me to feel comfortable with people continuing to have her on their channel, that disclaimer would need to precede her appearance for sure. Oh yeah, no, and then she was playing Drunk Turkey Show against oh my god, it's just too late for him. Who's the other? I don't know. I like him too. I know some of those channels don't all get along with one another. And the channel I'm thinking of does not, whatever. But she was playing all these people against each other. They were a bunch of freaking fools. It was just disgusting. And you are all a bunch of fools. That's what gets me. She's playing everybody for a bunch of freaking fools. Y'all are smarter than that. I know that. And you know that too. Come on. I don't know how I end up even talking about that woman from time to time. Hi, Green Eyed Bandit. How are you doing? I don't know who those people are, J Lord, but if I can help at all, let me know. I can sometimes get people resources, mental health resources and things. Oh, hi Gigi. Jen, how are you doing? I'm so glad you made it. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. So let's see. What is this? Sorry, it's just that my eyes are blurry right now, my contacts. So reread 1975 says, with all due respect, you're pushing your opinion as well. You clearly believe he's guilty. Truth is, none of us know the facts, so it's all speculation. Well, I don't think I'm pushing my opinion. I am stating my opinion. And actually, well, this is my channel. I've worked very hard to create it. Occasionally, I really do state my opinion. Most of the time, I do not. Or I do not state it fully because it's not about me. I want to know what y'all think. I want to know what you have to contribute. I want to know what is a community, do we all contribute? Because each of us have different experiences, different areas, different strengths, different areas of expertise and knowledge and professions. And like, that's where it's at for me. That's what this channel is about. It's not about Kelly's opinion or opinion pushing, but, as the creator of this channel and also bringing information to the community that I did receive firsthand from students who were close to the victims. And I mean, the harassment that those two guys have received, the harassment I've received, just the number of things that sometimes I mention here and there. But I normally just deal with it with those guys and with our legal counsel, and on a couple occasions, law enforcement. Yeah, I have a strong opinion. And after also talking to some of the victims' family members, the victims' close friends, and hearing the anguish that has been caused to them, obviously by the crime. But then even, for example, I can't believe I'm bringing up her name again, WSU Kim. Yeah, I have really strong opinions about a lot of this. But again, this channel is not about the Kelly's Opinion Show. But you know what? Sometimes I express it because I'm a human being. So that's what I do. Let's see. All right. Oh, yes. And I can talk about that too. So listen, I don't even know why I'm engaging in this. And this is the last time. You obviously aren't very familiar with my channel. That's okay. And again, I welcome you. I don't bash other content creators. I have opinions again, and sometimes I state them. For the most part, what I'd much prefer to do is support other content creators, to promote them, to speak positively about them, to do a number of things that I have done over the almost 3 years that I've had this channel to, help other creators, reach their goals and, do what they want to do with their channel and have the success they want to have, regardless of if it surpasses mine in numbers or whatever. Doesn't really matter. This is about, as I've been stating, the community, everybody coming together, having a safe place to state their opinion, and also know that we are, at the end of the day, our main focus is facts, truth, justice, humanitarian concerns for people who have just lost their loved ones in the most horrific way you can possibly imagine. And like, that's it. So don't try to bring the drama because it's not here. So I'm done with that. Okay. No, I know you were a drunk turkey show. Obviously, I'm a little edgy this evening. As I said, it was a long, stressful week. But okay, whatever. Sorry, let's see. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of the comments here. True Seeker says, I don't mind listening, but I don't necessarily believe anything I hear from anyone. You know what? And like, I certainly, I think that is like a totally legit, way of approaching things. Absolutely. Hi, Bulbule. How are you doing? Welcome. I just saw a couple of your comments kind of spread out. I'm not sure exactly what the conversation is, but I just want to say welcome. Hi, Amy Terry. How are you doing? Yeah, see, this is just, this case creates a lot of passion. People feel very strongly about their beliefs. And, at the end of the day, I guess the way I think about it, and I'm sure there's other perspectives to have, but that's a really good thing. It is a horrific, unthinkable, unimaginable, unconscionable, unacceptable is a super understatement. Horrific tragedy, the stuff that nightmares are made of, that happened seemingly out of nowhere to these four very young people with their whole lives ahead. And we've seen some of it's just the pain and suffering it's caused so many people. It's absolutely freaking, it's just, there really aren't words. There aren't words that do justice describing the horror of what happened. So the fact that people are passionate about their views and what happened here, even when they disagree, I think at the end of the day, at least the passion is there. Because when all that is there is indifference, when it comes to caring about one another, other human beings, and the health of our society and our justice system, that is a much bigger problem. So yeah. Angel, what are you referring to, Angel? Oh, I have no idea what's going on. What is going on? Tell me what's going on. I think that's a really healthy perspective, truth seeker. You are a true truth seeker. Oh, interesting. Are you still here, Daniel? DB Tape says to Drunk Turkey Show, Singer reminds me to ask you, you mentioned something about metal fragments in a victim. I didn't hear that. Can you elaborate on that? Please do if you are still here and you would like to. That's kind of interesting. No, I agree with the statement too. Salty Sleuth True Crime Time says Drunk Turkey Show tried with Kim. The rest of the channels used her for clicks and views. And now what I have called the Idaho 4 effect. I'm a mom, Kim. I agree with you on that. Yeah, I didn't have any problem with how DTS handled her. So Drunk Turkey Show responds to DB Tape about the metal fragments by saying, and Daniel has some experience in law enforcement too. So, when he does mention something, it's informed by that, which I think is pretty unique. Says to DB Tape, when a knife hits bone, there's a chance for metal fragments to be left behind. Those fragments can be tested to determine where it was manufactured. Wow. To determine if it was a possible actual K-bar rather than just saying like a K-bar style knife, but it's not really a K-bar, I think. That's pretty cool, Daniel. I feel like I may have heard something like that before, but I never would have been able to put together the explanation to even discuss with anybody. That's very interesting. Thank you. Kelly's gonna feel, yeah, I got you, Angel. Let's see. Where did Amy Terry go? I don't know. Let's see. I can't get all the comments here. Right. Anyway, okay. So I'm coming down to the bottom of the comments to move on, I think. And Tara B is just echoing what Truth Seeker said, that, you know, she's like, yeah, this case has really made me feel that way too. I can't fully trust anything anyone says. And, you know, if I were to give somebody who I really cared about advice, and, you know, something important was like hanging on how they felt about this case, that would definitely be the advice I would give them. Yeah. Okay, so getting back to what I was going to start to talk about. Thank you, Amy Terry. Says, let me see what time. Oh gosh, we're a little over an hour in. Okay. All right. I don't want to go too long with the live stream, but I do want to address this. So Amy Terry says, I think the alibi shows that the prosecution could definitely place Bryan Kohberger in his car. Anne had no choice but to use that alibi. Okay. So let's start back with everybody discussing what the heck? Why are they requesting Bryan Kohberger put forth the theory of alibi, and he hasn't yet? You know, it was past the court's normal time that theory would be due to share with the defense, so the defense can then do their the prosecution can then do their due diligence in investigating the defense that they are putting forth for Bryan Kohberger to find out if it holds water or if it's clearly bullshit, you know, and that sometimes can take, especially when the death penalty is on the table and the crime is so serious, it's going to be a pretty involved investigation usually. So people were getting antsy. People were wondering why the heck. Okay, dude, if you have an alibi and you're going to put forth a theory, where is it? I can't tell you how many people we've heard say, right, like if I was accused of doing something like that, I would be screaming from the rooftops, like what I was really doing, because, you know, it makes your skin crawl. Who would ever, what person who is not a high level socio or more likely psychopath would want to be associated with that crime? Like, that's just against human nature. So this is why I believe his alibi came forth when it did, and why it was what it was. Number one, the motion from the defense seeking to compel the testimony of Bethany Funk at the pretrial hearing that ultimately never actually occurred, because they went to convening the grand jury instead, which is a procedural option in Idaho. No foul was committed there. You know, you just have to look into any kind of criminal procedure, anything on the books in Idaho, and that is clear. That's like kind of not even a debatable point, in my opinion. It's just a black and white in the letter of the law. So, gosh, it gets so complicated for me because I can't remember what I have shared and what I have not, and I don't want to share anything more than I have previously shared, because I just basically because of the threats the people involved have been received. I've already told you guys that. So, you know, I shared with you what, according to the two guys that I've been talking to for so long, that were friends with the victims, very good friends with Ethan Chapin, the University of Idaho. They believe that they, you know, just had this understanding along with other students at the University of Idaho, that they felt like, oh yeah, this is what, you know, Bethany Funk's air quote exculpatory evidence is. What they're really saying is, this was her experience. This is known. When I was talking to them, to me, it was like, oh, hey, Kelly, we thought we all talked about that together, but we hadn't, because I had never heard that before. The discussion that we had, maybe it was a couple months ago. I do not think that Ann Taylor ever believed that Bethany Funk had any exculpatory evidence. I do not believe that the experience that Bethany Funk had is exculpatory evidence. So let's just be clear on that. I personally believe, and I think there's evidence to indicate this was likely what was going on, The defense's motion to compel Bethany Funk's statement was out of sheer terror and finally having to expose the most powerful wild card, ace in the pocket, that the state had, which was Bethany Funk's forthcoming testimony at trial. Clearly, they knew approximately, at least as, kind of a skeleton of what Dylan Mortensen was going to testify to, what that would be, because it exists in the probable cause affidavit. And you better believe that the state is going to make sure that Dylan Mortensen's testimony on stand in trial is not going to diverge whatsoever from what was written by Brett Payne in the probable cause affidavit. That's like law enforcement party foul, right? So the defense team had absolutely no idea, this is what I believe, what Bethany Funk was going to say. They did not have any indicators. The prosecution team was not showing their hand at all. They're like, nope. They just filed their 10th request for discovery. Now, do I believe that is truly a 10th request for discovery that was unanswered in the way they are claiming? I don't believe that, but that is a case that could be debated, and I don't even want to go there right now. It's so super layered, and I just kind of think it's legal showmanship. Just like I think filing the motion to have Bethany Funk's testimony compelled to pretrial hearing was legal showmanship. I think one of the points of evidence towards that idea is that Ann Taylor, unlike all of the other motions, I can't say all the other motions because I don't know if that's an accurate statement. Definitely vast majority of the motions that she filed with the court, were authored by herself for the most part, where she would make definitive statements from her own voice, signing her own name to it. When they filed the motion to compel Bethany Funk's testimony, all of a sudden they brought in that extra investigator, right? And his name was Richard. I can't remember his last name now. Too late, mushy brain. But he was the person who filed the document that says, this is what we think she's got. We want it. We think that she has, that her statement, like her experience is material to the case, that what she heard and what she saw are unique to her experience. Well, no shit, right? And we got to know what it is. Well, yeah, they got to know what it is. You know why? Because the court and the state and all of Idaho and all of the United States and all of people who watch anything having to do with true crime on YouTube and all across the world are waiting on Bryan Kohberger's alibi. I believe the defense knew that Bethany Funk had something. They knew that she was not asleep because they knew that Dylan and Bethany were communicating probably while the crime was happening and after the crime was happening. We are going to see a boatload of evidence to that effect during the trial. And I certainly believe that the defense was aware of that. So what does she have? We cannot put forth a theory of alibi until we know what this, ace in the pocket is. So that was their attempt to make her spill her beans, under an oath situation where if she diverged from her statement in that pretrial hearing, that would be very bad for the state's case, right? Does that make sense? So that never happened. The grand jury is convened. Obviously, we all know Kohberger is ultimately indicted. The defense is, picking at issues there. Some of them I think are legitimate. Some of them I don't think they are. But what does it matter? That's just my opinion. I'm not an attorney, but, we all certainly have our own opinions on how that all went down. So when they finally do put forth the theory of alibi for Bryan Kohberger, time was running out. At that point, they finally got a grasp on what they felt Bethany Funk was going to be saying. they had recently been faced with the reality that Bryan Kohberger's 2015 Hyundai Elantra did in fact contain a computer in the engine that recorded all of the telemetry data that, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many, aside from obviously the video of Bubba at the kennels, was one of the nails in Alec Kohberger's, jail cell, right? The alibi that the defense put forth for Bryan Kohberger is laughable. I mean, if somebody would like to make a case that it's not laughable, I'd love you to come up here and tell us about it. And I mean, I really, truly would like to, I would love to hear somebody make that case. Some people have tried. I just still think it's laughable. I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing at the defense. But that was the only thing that was available to them. They were put in a corner. They had to put forth that theory of alibi. They got all the information that they were looking for, that they were afraid of, that caused them to hold off that theory of alibi till way past when it was due. And that's what's up with his alibi. It's obviously, in my opinion, one of the weakest alibis you've ever heard in a case of this magnitude, for sure. So again, to say that the alibis of the surviving witnesses or the victims themselves are no stronger than Bryan Kohberger's, I think is not a well-founded argument. Personally, my opinion. It's called metallurgy. Is that so? That's what Drunk Turkey Show is talking about, right? And I don't know if I pronounced that right. For sure, I do not know if I pronounced that right at all. How you see? How are you doing? So Bo Buell says, the Linda Lane video I just watched in the time frame of the 1 to 2 a.m. Segment made my soul cringe. Ooh, soul cringe is very descriptive. I get how I think you felt. Is that real audio of the murder? I'm just saying it, YouTube. You know, I'm not talking baby talk anymore, YouTube. We had this discussion in the other live stream. T-Rex put out the one that I saw, but I believe that there are other ones with the same. I'd like to hear what others think. My personal opinion of the Linda Lane footage after reviewing lots of different Linda Lane footage, I think in general, you can trust what you see with your eyes on the video, but the audio is different every video I pull up, basically. I think that there's been a lot of doctoring done to the audio of that video, unfortunately. And then some people who I consider to have expert opinions also said that that camera microphone was far enough away from 1122 King Road where it would have been virtually impossible for that microphone to pick up the sounds that I think people wanted us to believe were contained in the video, but really the video was doctored. I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but I feel pretty strongly on that one. I just love how chatty you are. I'm scrolling down. Yes. And Laura, I mean, this is thank you for saying this, Laura Williams. I feel like this is really in my mind, what it boils down to for all of us is a community or a collective humanity. This is where we're all at. One of the things I think and sometimes say when people are getting really like at odds with one another, like sticking to their guns, sticking to their sides, like really backing into their corner and holding tight, is like, I know that as human beings, we are all more the same than different. We have more commonalities between us. We understand each other so much better than sometimes I think we believe we do. I know that to be true. And that's why we're really all here. And that's why we're all interested in true crime. And it truly is because of our, caring about our own lives, the lives of our loved ones, and the lives of others, perfect strangers that you don't know, that you're drawn to true crime, because that's the human psyche's way of dealing with something that is so horrible. Your mind cannot rationally handle it. It's literally unthinkable. Laura says, everyone is just trying to understand why. It's helpful to watch yours and others' channels. It's an outlet for the horror that we can't understand. That was so well said. Thank you. And DB Tape agrees. Damn, J Lord, you were like on top of those your facts there. in that regard. Oh, and I don't know. I'm not like really reading what's going on between you guys. I just saw you like snap up that date real quick. I don't know what even that is about. Oh yeah, no, but guys, like, this is just my suggestion. Could I suggest in chat? Let's not like. WSU Kim is a mentally ill poison to this community. That's my opinion. If you disagree, if you think I'm an ass for saying that, that's fine. I feel very certain in that. And if you also would like the reports that I have sitting right here in front of me in black and white, because I chose to not like make a video about it exposing her, because what that would make me no different than the creators that I'm upset with right now that keep bringing her back on and that I think are enabling her mental illness. This could end up in a very tragic situation for the person that calls herself WSU Kim. And that is part of my concern, is her well-being. I do not feel like the outlook is good. Guys, serious. It's a very serious issue. So if I then make a video exposing her with all this data that I got from my, computer security dude that I only have on a light retainer because I had a catastrophic hack during the Kylie Rodney case that freaked me out. And I want to make sure it didn't happen again. And anyone interacting with my channel wasn't like at risk of a vulnerability if something weird is going on and I don't know about it again. Right. So he just makes sure we're all good. Right. In doing that, he is able to identify weird things that come up when he runs the reports that he needs to run that I totally don't get, because that is not my wheelhouse, to make sure that nothing weird is going on in my computer that is putting us at risk of our bank accounts being hacked or my files being stolen, whatever the case may be. He brings these things to my attention because he thinks they are weird enough. There have been very few of them. The biggest issue was him over a rather short period of time, but, eventually unearthing at first 7 alt accounts by the person that also goes by WSU Kim. The last total that he came to, and he said there might be more. Do we need to go further? And I was like, my God, no, this is just like stupidness at this point. Was 38 alt accounts definitively attached to that person. So I don't think that's the important point. She's a fake. She is a fraud. She is not a stable person. I worry for the damage that she does, and I worry for her. So let's not. I don't know where she was first and all that. I'm almost sorry I brought it up. I propose we all move on from it. So. Let's see here. Bethany Funk's testimony is unique to her and is exculpatory. Thank you. So that was part of the statement, right? In the motion, right? And is exculpatory. So they absolutely were making a statement that what Bethany Funk, the testimony that they were trying to compel from Bethany Funk, was exculpatory to Bryan Kohberger's guilt. I know people have debated what exculpatory means. You can look up the definition and find different definitions in different legal dictionaries. I personally have talked to a few different, well, some of you know I have like a family of attorneys, and I myself am a law school dropout. Well, it was really hard, honestly, but I also was like, I don't think I like this justice system thing. I am I was young and just like kind of like naive about what my life was going to look like. But I really wish I finished it now. But anyway, even in talking to attorneys who are, litigators who go to court, probably use the term exculpatory often enough over their career. I kind of got different connotations from them. That's all I can really say about it. But yeah, absolutely. The defense said that that her experience was unique to herself and is exculpatory to Bryan Kohberger's guilt. I'm interested in the 51 terabytes. Yeah, so that is, for those of you who might not know what that means, that is the amount of, well, I don't think it's accurate to say that's the amount of evidence that exists. That's the amount of information that exists, that within that information is the evidence that would prove Bryan Kohberger innocent or guilty. That is so much information. I just like that. I'm going to pin that one. Okay. Oops, I'm a little bit too far behind though. Let me get caught up. Hi, Truth and Translucent. How are you doing, sweetheart? Is there any truth about the front door being open at 8:30 a.m.? I personally don't know anything about that. The only thing that I know that I feel is reliable is, and I do believe law enforcement in this sense. I don't think their investigation was perfect by any means. I don't think that there's some grand cover up that has to do with international cartels or anything like that. I definitely think that is barking up the wrong theory tree. But James Fry said that the door was open when they arrived. He didn't specify which door. I think in my mind, it makes sense that he would go through the front door by like where Bethany's room was. And I can't remember where that 8:30 thing started, but I personally don't know of there being anything supporting that. I do know of a couple of testimonies of students who lived in the area. They're not affiliated with any YouTube channels. They certainly, mentioned walking the path that they took from their house to wherever they had to go to get themselves to work. And I know one guy in particular talks about walking right in front of what would be that door at 1122 King Road. You'd think if that was wide open at 8:30 in the morning, that would be weird. Somebody would notice it. As far as I know, nobody mentioned noticing it. So I don't know. Maybe people know more than that, though. Yes, Tanel says, so this is the elusive mountain of evidence yet to be shown. That's correct, yes. If you're talking about the 51 terabytes of information that within contains evidence. That's right. The feds don't answer to the state. That's a very true statement. Truth and translucent. So, all right, everybody listen up. I'm going over this one last time. No, wait, I'm going to do one better. Guys, this is a really, I keep mentioning this point because I don't think we're grasping how important this is. So now I'm not talking in the realm of, I've been wrong before, I will be wrong again, I could be wrong now. Now I'm talking in the realm of, guys, this is a thoroughly researched and provable issue. And here is what it is. I've done the research. I've talked to the experts. And other people, not just myself, people that have been helping me out, because this one was definitely too much big to do myself. Other theories that, oh, well, that car did not have a computer in the engine that recorded the telemetry data have all been thoroughly disproven. So it's, systematically going through the possibilities, finding evidence that supports the existence of one and information that refutes the existence of the other. We've gone through that process. Here is the outcome. This is so critical to what is going to be the eventual outcome of this case. It's frustrating. I want more people to be exposed to the information. Obviously, make your own decision, or you'll form your own opinion of what you think about it. But why, as a true crime community, we keep talking about some things that I consider to be total, like, irrelevant issues or made up information or whatever the case may be. But we are not talking more about this. These are the kind of things that really confuse me about this case, okay? When you get a chance, please click like. Y'all know, do that YouTube thing. I haven't been doing a lot of lives lately, so people I know are not getting notifications. So I very much appreciate it. And the other thing I would ask you to do, please just listen carefully. Because people keep asking the same questions and I keep repeating it. And, you can only do that so much. But this is important. And I'm interested to see if you agree on how important this is. And you better, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right. Here it is. So I'm going to share this. And thanks everyone for being here, watching the replay. You guys all rock. Thank you, moderators. You're terrific. I know you put up with a lot sometimes. Thank you for being here. And I know you guys are just here in the chat, put up a lot with sometimes. Hey, sometimes you have to put up a lot with just because you're listening to me. So thank you. I'm so happy you're all here.
I'm Bryan Kohberger's car. Telemetry data. Welcome back to Watch the Obsession. I'm so glad that you are with us. Today's video about the Idaho 4 case is going to take a deep dive into telemetry and the possible telemetry readings on Bryan Kohberger's car. Telemetry data, it's the information that's recorded.
Hold on. All right, so can you guys hear me? That is why StreamYard and I are breaking up after tonight, as I told you in the beginning of this. And now I have I have to have two-factor authentication on my computer. in part thanks to someone we were talking about earlier this evening, per my computer guy, so it takes me longer to get back on. Can you guys all hear me? Super annoying. There is a new streaming service in my future, and I'm excited about it. Telemetry data is not triangulation. Okay, can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure you guys can hear me before I start the video again. Please just listen because I think it's all explained in this video. Telemetry data is not triangulation. Telemetry data is not the feature that you might look for when you're buying a new car. That is the navigation or GPS system that sits on your dashboard, maybe with your, music selection choices that you and your passenger car can look at while you're having a driving experience. Telemetry data is generated from a computer within the engine of the car that is not interfaced with, like a typical driver like me that doesn't know how to take apart cars. Okay. So let me just make sure you guys got audio. Where'd it go? You can hear me. Awesome. Thank you so much, Laura. I appreciate it. And whoever else said yes. Okay. So it's going to be all explained right here. Okay. StreamYard. I don't know.
Welcome back to Watch the Obsession. I'm so glad that you are with us. Today's video about the Idaho 4 case is going to take a deep dive into telemetry and the possible telemetry readings on Bryan Kohberger's car. Telemetry data, it's the information that's recorded somewhere on your car that records and remembers its every move. When you shift gears, when you turn, when you slow down, when you speed up. Telemetry, y'all remember the Murdaugh case not so long ago?
Engineer from the FBI out of Washington, D.C. He's the one that took the telemetry unit.
Okay, so let me just say, Angel says, Drunk Turkey Show knows a lot about cars. He's saying it doesn't have it. It has something to, I don't know. Dan, I would so love to talk to you about that because I have talked to so many car experts, and that's the only, I certainly believe Daniel knows a lot about cars. It's the only dissenting opinion by someone that I do believe knows something about cars that I've heard yet. And I mean, it's been a lot of people. So I would definitely love to chat with you about that. Okay.
Out of Alex Murdaugh Suburban, the telemetry data. We have their cell phone distractions here. We also have the FBI telemetry report. Telemetry data just showing a system startup, the telemetry system.
On which the Suburban's underway?
That is correct, according to the telemetry data. Is consistent with the data.
All right.
Telemetry.
We have some additional telemetry consistent with him. We have a bunch of green and blue boxes.
I didn't say you said that, Angel. Truth and Translucency had posted that.
Is this more telemetry data? And again, we'll go through the timeline in a bit, but is this generally consistent with some of the telemetry data that Falfosky did?
You get in your car, you kind of hear that noise before you start it up, the telemetry.
Below that, we have a orange and blue box. What does that represent?
So this is going to be from the FBI telemetry data.
Some believe, and I am one of them, that the telemetry data was one of the key critical pieces of evidence that proved Alec Murdaugh's guilt in that trial. It's hard to get away with a lie about what you're doing and where you're going when you're in your car and a computer in your car is recording.
It would show vehicle going into drive or park, moving, propulsion, that kind of stuff.
I've been so interested in learning the possible information that we are going to be getting from Bryan Kohberger's car ever since, well, we knew that Bryan Kohberger was the suspect. And I've been wanting to talk about this in a video. And I chose to make this video right now because just a few days ago, Nancy Grace had this guy on her show.
A mobile device forensic expert, Lee Reber. Now listen to this. He's the author of Mobile Forensic Investigations.
And they made a point of answering a question I've wanted to know for a long time. I've talked about it a few times during live streams. Maybe you were listening, but here it is.
You stated that that you knew for a fact the 2000 Elantra, all the way back to 2011, has the nav system, navigation system. Why do I care?
Now, I'm going to let Mr. Reber answer that question in just a moment, but first I want to make a distinction between the navigation system that Nancy Grace is referring to here and a GPS or navigation system that is a feature on a car that you might look for when you are in the market for buying a new car and you're looking for one that lists, oh, great, it has a GPS system so I can find where I'm going. If you were to look up Hyundai Elantra 2015 navigation system, because that was the year, make, and model of Bryan Kohberger's car, you're going to find an answer like this. So it says, does the Hyundai Elantra 2015 have a GPS? And the answer is, the 2015 Hyundai Elantra did indeed come with GPS, but only as part of the upgraded infotainment package. This package added a 7-inch touchscreen to the center dash, which includes Bluetooth functionality as well as a navigation and GPS capabilities. Unfortunately, this was not offered as a standard equipment at any trim level. It needed to be added when the vehicle was purchased new. So that, of course, means if Bryan Kohberger was driving a 2015 Hyundai Elantra that did not have that upgraded system, then it wouldn't have this GPS navigation system in it. So one who read one of these articles that I just researched would say,
So let me clarify. Bryan Kohberger's car did not have a GPS navigation system like my cute little Audi A6 has in it. I always wanted an Audi A6, so happy I finally have one. It's the only car I've ever loved. So, does not have that. He does not have that sports, whatever, sportertainment or whatever the hell they call it, upgrade. We know that. I know that. I know that. You know that. The whole world, if they were just listening, knows that. He does not have that GPS navigation system that he can look at while he's driving. It's going to point him in the direction to go. Okay, we get it. That is separate from the computer that is in the engine that records telemetry data. These are the nuanced differences that, like, I feel like everybody's getting hung up on that cares about this.
no, that is wrong. Bryan Kohberger's car did not have the navigation in it. Nancy Grace, once again, Nancy, you are wrong. This was a little bit confusing to me because I'm not really a car person. So when I was looking into this and I asked a few people who know what they're talking about, I was able to find a clear distinction between what this GPS navigation system is part of a feature on a car, and the navigation system that is a computer in the engine that Nancy Grace is talking about. So I want you to watch a little excerpt of this video here from 2015. So the gentleman that is talking is a vehicle expert, and this video again is from the year 2015. So he is talking from a perspective of, well, the capabilities that cars had in 2015. In this video, he talks about the navigation system, as Nancy Grace calls it, or the computer in the engine, that is apparently the computer that all Hyundai Elantras did have in them after 2011.
Your car has lots of different
Okay.
features. You might have one in your dashboard.
Okay, so this was recorded in 2015. This guy is a car expert of sorts. He's making this video he has a product that he's saying, hey, you know that computer in the engine of your car, there's certain aspects of it that you, the driver, can't access, but he's selling a certain product. But in doing so, it's necessary for him to explain all the things I've been trying to explain, but he does it better. So please listen to him.
But the one that I'm talking about is the one controlling your engine. That's called an engine control unit. And you can access the data coming from the engine control unit computer by a port in your car. It's usually just located underneath the dash. Most computers in cars today have GPS in them, but access to that data is usually limited to the vendor itself. It's not something that's covered as part of the OBD specification that most people can access. The type of data you can get from the engine control unit off the OBD port is just about everything you might, even like compression levels, oxygen levels. But generally speaking, most of the stuff you'll see in your dashboard, things like the fuel, how much fuel you've got, the speed of your car, the revolutions per minute of the engine temperature, the intake temperature as well, all kinds of data about the car's engine and how it's operating. You're able to see what was going on when the driver hit the brake, where they were when they hit the brake, what angle they were,
what was going on with the car, how hard they were pressing on the brake.
Okay, all those things he just mentioned is telemetry data. As you research this issue further, you are going to find not only a filing through a state that regulates what has to be in cars and how that industry is going to move forward, but rather a federal mandate that guarantees that Bryan Kohberger's car recorded that data. This is not a debatable point. All those parameters he just mentioned is what defines telemetry data. I know some people are still going to debate it. People are going to hear exactly what I just said, and they're going to still choose to not believe it, and that's all okay. I don't think I'm ever going to talk about it again because I don't think I can repeat myself anymore. But if you ever decide I need to really get that information again, and I need to get it from a source that's just telling me like it is, and it's accurate and it's fact checked, I'm telling you right now, this is the video. Somewhere in my channel, it's 11 minutes long.
Things like that you can actually get from the engine control unit.
So one of the questions we all want to know is there a witness we all don't know about
I
yet?
would say there's a witness. The witness is the nav system.
So let's go back and listen to what the expert that Nancy Grace had on her show just the other day had to say about the navigation system, the computer that Bryan Kohberger's 2015 Hyundai Elantra has in his car and the information it will yield and some other really interesting facts.
Lee Reber, you gave me a very interesting and probative, in other words, it proves something, fact. You stated that you knew for a fact the 2000 Elantra, all the way back to 2011 has the nav system, navigation system. Why do I care?
Yeah, I think it's important because
Guys, I'm sorry. I love you, J. Lord, but please don't talk politics in chat. It just creates general nastiness. I just I really want to stay away from that. But I know we all have opinions, but we have enough opinions to differ from when we're talking about true crime. Could you imagine we bring politics into it? Oh no, I'm not going there. Thank you.
we all have, or if you've utilized a navigational system within a car, right? You put a starting point, end point. However, if you don't do that, you ever watch your car just driving along, you haven't put anything in there. Well, it's actually tracking that. It actually can show where you've stopped. It has the computer that's within those cars can show the speed that you've been traveling. So to be honest, if he doesn't even have his phone, right? Supposedly, he turned his phone off, which is again quite odd. But now you're not able to go and turn that off within the tracking system within the vehicle. So I think it's incredible evidence if they have pulled that data from those vehicles.
The nav system shows everywhere you go, everywhere you stop, but it also shows, as we learned in the prosecution of Alex Murdaugh, it shows when you open your door, your car door, when you put the car in park, when you put the car in drive. Because remember, guys, when the state was putting up the navigational system investigation work product, the state broke it down. Creighton Waters broke it down minute by minute. Okay, he says he was here, he left, he went to his mother, and then the murders occurred. Waters broke down minute by minute. He integrated the cell phone activity between Murdaugh's phone, wife Maggie's phone, son Paul's phone. He integrated that with the nav system from, I believe it was a Suburban belonging to Alex Murdaugh. It showed when he got to the car, opened the door and got in, how long he sat there, when he cranked the car up, when he put it in drive, when he took off. It showed where he went and the speed at which he traveled, when he got to his mother's house, when he put it in park, when he got out of the car, when he went supposedly in, how long it was before he came back out, when he put the car in drive and went back to the hunting lodge at Moselle, when he got out of the car and air quotey, found the dead bodies. It's amazing, Lee Reber. Tell it to me like that, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you that in a vehicle, the telemetry, like you said, car doors open, how long they've been open, windows down, everything is recorded. Our vehicles are computers.
Ooh, I'm glad you said windows down, because many would argue, including me, that the windows went down and Maggie Murdoch's cell phone was thrown out. Coincidentally, at the time and the location that window was rolled down. It's amazing, right?
Right. Right. Now couple the fact if you have
I really wish she would have let him talk. She was getting like super excited, and this guy had really important stuff to say. Love you, Nancy, but you're an excitable one.
For a particular item, these items were located at the scene. You think about DNA always being utilized, but quite honestly, I mean, the digital evidence that is available is tremendous, and I think that is really what should be, and I hope is utilized within for this case. Even if you're not taking, or utilizing GPS or not using a running application, Google will store your routes as you're driving around, you're walking around, you're running. Store those locations within your Google profile, even if you're not using tracking software.
Oh, is that what I don't know what you're talking about with Crime Sleuth. I don't really watch her.
Has an Alexa. Is it constantly listening?
I could tell you 100% that it is. And because it's always listening, because it has to hear that keyword, right? That you've either utilized to run a task. It has to always be
okay. You're scaring me, Reber.
Well, friends, it looks like if Bryan Kohberger is in fact the person who committed this horrific crime, and he does have this computer in his car's engine that is tracking, recording, and reporting his every move, basically the man's going to be screwed, and the trial is already in the bag. What do you think? Please.
I mean, that's the importance of this information, guys. That's why, I just would like to impress upon people to take it seriously at some point, or maybe not. Maybe it'll just happen in trial, whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's how in the bag. That's how I feel about it. So, what you can make the how can I fill you? Oh, okay, wait. So you said what's going on with Crime Sleuthing? So that's a channel, right? I can't even. There's so many. I just can't. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but like I told you guys already, I watch very few true crime channels. I've been on a harsh reality kick, for better or worse. I catch Drunk Turkey Show when I can. And now, gosh, I got to make sure I do so religiously, since I definitely misspoke earlier. And I do feel bad about that. Like, I love Plunder, but she's not talking about cases I have like a lot of interest in right now, but she is the Jammy Jam. I really like Michelle After Dark. You guys ever watch her channel? Let's see, Interview Room. But Nancy Grace has been taking him a lot. And those are just the channels that like I can remember I've watched in the somewhat recent past. I do not consume a lot of true crime YouTube right now, because a lot of what I would be interested in is focusing on the Idaho 4 case. And as y'all know, stated is my opinion, a lot of the information out there has been manufactured. It's not accurate. It's not. I'm sorry, it's not. I don't know. Sometimes I think it's done intentionally. Sometimes I think this is a very confusing case. The gag order is like, it's really changed the nature of how this case is unfolding from our perspective. So I have to intentionally not consume a lot of Idaho 4 content, because if I'm trying to help unconfuse some things, and I don't always do it perfectly, I make mistakes, I know. If I'm consuming things from here, there, and everywhere, it confuses me. So I also just don't have the time or the interest anymore. Yeah, that's all. You don't need to know any more than that. I'm talking a lot here. Yeah. So, J Lord, so Crime Sleuthing, I believe is channel. Boycott Crime Sleuthing for exploiting Kara. Yeah, so I don't like that either. I wasn't gonna mention it, but yeah, I have some opinion. Yeah. I don't know all the information, but yeah. So you're saying that that channel had an expert on the channel? Did it have to do with this car kind of telemetry sort of computer data situation that we were just discussing? Because that would make me a little interested. And oh, hey, by the way, if you are still here, Azima, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome, and I really appreciate you. I meant to say that earlier. I'm sorry I didn't, but thank you so much. I got banned on the WSU Cam interview. That's awesome. Oh my God, I don't even know what channel you're talking about, but oh, okay, I see you. You know, I don't know if this is the case. I'm so sad I got banned. Oh, well, you know, I'll make sure Daniel gets this information. I do believe, guys, I think sometimes people get banned from, it doesn't happen on my channel really, because I'm telling you guys right now, when people accuse me from removing their comments or blocking them, there is a total of 9 people blocked from Watch the Obsession. I'm like proud of that fact. I think that's a statement saying I really do encourage and allow all kinds of perspectives. I do not censor people. I accept what they say. I don't ever remove comments. And there are some nasty comments on my own channel about me because I made a commitment not to. If they're hateful or vile, that's my rule. I remove them. Anyhow, I think it's my understanding, and I sort of like have just a hunch this is the case, and I've heard YouTube kind of admit to having problems like this. For people who are saying, oh, I'm so sad I'm blocked from this certain channel, you might want to somehow make that creator aware, because I think people get blocked from channels that the creators are not meaning to block from those channels. Also, some moderators can have the like power to block people, and I think it happens just unintentionally because, you know, things get a little hectic and busy, or somebody just makes a mistake. So don't get all bummed on yourself and take things personal, guys. That's all I'm saying. And I'm gonna make sure Daniel gets a couple people are saying they think they're blocked. I'll make sure he knows. And then if you don't get unblocked, you should definitely take it personal. I'm just kidding. I felt like what I just said, that was the next inference to make, though. But it's all good. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. Yep. Yep. And then JJ says, Cluminati, who I don't have no clue who that channel is either. I don't know any of these channels you're talking about, but you know what? I am more strong opinions. If somebody is trashing the Chapin family, they are such good people. Please let the world know now, and I will make sure that people stay away from that channel, because I think that is disgusting. And how people hear what they've had to say, and I don't care if you don't like what I'm about to say, how they hear what that grieving family has to say and the good that they've done and the perspective that they have. I know a lot of people are turned off. Stacey Chapin, you know, saying that, you know, they didn't necessarily want to participate in, you know, all the trial happenings, that it's not going to bring Ethan back. And having spoken with that family, that is just what it's about for them. It's not going to bring Ethan back. They have Ethan was a triplet sibling. I'm an only child. I can't even imagine how close that relationship is. Not only is it not going to bring Ethan back, they have 2 triplet siblings who are still attending the same college where their triplet brother was slain to death. And I'm not even going to say what's going on in my head now because it's too graphic, not just for YouTube, but it's just not even necessary. I'm not trying to make people upset. As parents, they have to do everything they can to wake up every morning, put one foot in front of the other, and do what they can to care for their 2 children who are still alive and really need their mom and dad right now. You know, they're young. I think sometimes we forget that we're talking about people who are young. They were just children. Their brains, none of them. We're talking about the surviving roommates, with the exception of Bryan Kohberger. He is past the age where one's brain is a normally developing human being will have matured fully. And that, are you generally speaking, with some exceptions, around 26 or 25. I think sometimes we forget that we're talking about virtual children when people are so nasty towards these victims or even the surviving roommates. I do not accept people trashing the Chapin family. Yeah, that really turns me off. Mm-hmm. Angel says Daniel D 3 times. And the message from Daniel is you guys aren't all blocked. Okay, I figured that was the case. I don't see them as being big super blockers, you know. I don't know. Never know. That's interesting, Aaron. Let us know how that goes. Aaron says she's talking to a stranger. Good to know. I'm running a tiny experiment tomorrow, so I'll see if the Bluetooth on my phone tracks me, even if it's in airplane mode, if it can track me while I'm out. She's curious about that. I'm not sure exactly what the conversation was, but that is very interesting. That's right. Disney prime time. How are you? What time am I looking at? Because I got to wrap up here. I want to get to your comment. It was you. I didn't even know you were talking about DC. You're so cute. I can't keep up with your conversations anymore, guys. I'm too tired, but I'm so glad you guys are here. And thank you for being part of the conversation. So DP Tape says, somebody had the VIN to Kohberger's car and called the manufacturer. So what is this pertaining to, and what was the outcome that you're stating, DB? Like I read that and I'm like, okay, I'm interested. But then I scroll up and try to look for his last comment. I can't find it. Oh, yeah. And oh, by the way, J Lord, email me at whatsobsession@gmail.com, please. Because I'd like to know a little more what you're talking about. Woo. Oh, hey, thanks. Like I just got your email, DB. Thank you. All right. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is so bad. Holy cow. Who's saying that, J Lord? Fortunately, I don't think that the family is aware of that yet. Yeah. That needs to go away. That's not okay, but that's just, people are so fucking irresponsible. It's just disgusting. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have some negative things to say about some people that put that kind of stuff out on YouTube. it just makes me want to be off YouTube. I just, oh, real problem with that. Even being part, I don't know. That's really troublesome. Thank you, DB. I'll check it very shortly. Thank you, Angel D. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, that is really interesting. True Sleuth Aaron, I would really love to hear what the outcome is of that. I'm glad you're doing that. No. I thought that I don't want to pin in your comments, Janelle, because I thought you were getting the wrong name. Okay. Kara Worthington is Anna Kernodle's mom, okay? So that's the person who lost her daughter, and that's who you were talking about, guys. When she was just saying she felt bad for WSU, blah, 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 she meant Kara. I thought that's kind of maybe where she was going. Okay, because it didn't make sense what you were saying before. This person referred to as WSU Kim is somebody I honestly wish that I didn't even bring up tonight because I feel like I'm spending too much time on her. She's a person that just kind of showed up, and she made up a whole story about having children that went to Washington State University and then knowing all these things about what happened. In fact, Kelly Goncalves' recent ex-boyfriend, Jack DeCure, was at her daughter's house when she was there that weekend for Parents Weekend. I mean, it was just really kind of like delusional stuff, but people are confused about what's going on in this case. People want answers. What happened was very scary. I think sometimes channels that make up and disseminate lies are channels that, we all want to be here for a sense of community, or we would not be here right now. So I'm not separating myself from anybody else. I'm not looking down on anybody, but I think sometimes channels that are willing to make up things are also channels that are going to be a little cunning and making people that really just want to feel a sense of community and belonging, making them feel really welcome for reasons that, in my opinion, are likely not necessarily sincere or authentic. But Kara Worthington is Anna Kernodle's mom. I'm glad we got this straightened out. Yeah. I definitely will, J Lord. Yes, I will. Yeah, I'm gonna write you back too because we've got something needs to be done about that. Something will be done about it. I just don't know what the right thing is right now. Oh no. No, don't. No, I don't. I definitely don't want them to know, Amy. Yeah. So that's the same channel that's going after the Chapins that did that to Samantha Nelson too. What is wrong with this channel? I've never heard of them. I guess I'm kind of glad now, but yeah, not cool. Hi, Pat the Bird. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Is 50-50 on the case. Thank you for that, TNT. 50-50. What a nice place to be on the case. If you're trying to attract, I'm sure it's a newer channel, maybe, like growing probably like at a good pace for the size and the age of the channel. This is just what I'm surmising, knowing nothing else about it, because 50-50 is a really sweet place to be if you are just really trying to figure out what is going to gain you the best analytics and the best algorithm to put the most revenue into your YouTube creator account. I'd bet the ranch on that one. Yeah. It's okay, Tanel. I think there's a lot of details and it's so confusing. You're all good. I'm just glad I saw those comments and I was like, that doesn't make sense because I saw some of your other comments and it was a kind of abrupt change. So I'm just glad that we figured out where the where you got names swapped. They both begin with a K. My name begins with a K. Too many K names. Well, no, Kara doesn't actually. I don't know how she's spelled her name with a C, I think. Oh, gosh. Oh, thank you. Yeah, when people make things up, we know. We are, DC Prime and I are scientific method people. We like pie charts and data-driven, evidence-based everything. When you're making stuff up, we know. Who the hell is Clue Chicken? Who are all these people? Where are you guys dragging in these people from? I swear to God, I've never heard of any of these people. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, no wonder Ethan's family are avoiding everything. Oh my God. And that's where many of you know that's where the root of my disgust for WSU Kim, which she had done, although I do understand she is mentally ill, but also for the people who positioned her to do what she did. The way it affected that family was, I will never get over it. It was, again, there's no words that do justice. The damage has been done. No words. Clue Chicken was I still don't know who Clue Chicken is. I don't know who Clue Chicken is. Which is okay. I don't think I want to know. Yes, exactly. Well said, DC. DC says, don't make stuff up in true crime. It's just ugly. When people are at their lowest, they can be vulnerable and it's not okay. So well said. Such an important point. Lots of vulnerable targets that make very desirable prey for predators who are seeking to manipulate and con people for, of course, why do you manipulate and con people? For your own selfish purposes, gratification, and gain. It's a really ugly thing. And oh, by the way, the details of almost any true crime case, my God, especially this one, they're horrible enough in the realm of reality to feel as though you need to go above and beyond and fictionalize to make more horrible what actually happened. It's just really sick and twisted, guys. And I mean, talk about selfish and greedy and gluttonous. I mean, at the expense of, I got to get off the topic. I've already said all that. And yeah. And again, I know some people are really going to not like what I've had to say, but it is one of the rare live streams where, and I told you this ahead of time, I have some strong opinions on things. I feel I need to say them. You can hear them. You can think of them, what you do. But, every now and then, it's like, my channel, I just get to do what I want tonight, and I guess that's, maybe what I'm doing right now. But I also know a lot of you share the same opinions. And I also know a lot of you, I have conversations with a lot of people who oftentimes I don't have the same view as at first, but there's a lot of conversing that goes on outside of these live streams. And people have come to some pretty profound realizations, and, they felt that what they got, not just from me, not even just from my channel, but just in chats with you guys, like in this community, was something that they really needed, that was a value, that was very valuable to them, that was a blessing to them. Some people even gone so far as to say that they think it saved them from, something very terrible. So, it's just like all good. Here we are just being human beings with opinions, and sometimes we're right and sometimes we're wrong and blah, 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 blah. I just would like everyone to consider, keeping honesty and, consideration and care for your fellow human beings at the top of your priority list. And some people are not going to. And some people are laughing right now for even suggesting such a naive thing. But there we go. Texas Ranger says, I had to get into my daughter for putting her drama on Facebook. Yeah, that can be like really not good. Is your daughter a teenager? J Lord, I can't even, I am so upset about this. Oh, hey, R, thank you so much for the super chat. R says, thank you for your kindness and truth. I really appreciate it, R, and I appreciate you all the time. And I would say that same right back to you, sweetheart. Oh, gosh. By the way, I am so remiss in not mentioning, or last live stream, I'm so sorry. Ara has a true crime channel also. She talks about, I like really appreciate her for continuing to discuss issues and irregularities and concerns that occurred with the Kylie Rodney case. I still have questions. I would love to still be, doing the duty of looking into the things that I started looking into at one point. But I mean, I'm the only person that runs my whole channel, and I have a full-time job, and I'm a single mom and all that. So I'm sorry, Kylie, but Ara does a great job of all of that. And she does other things too. So please go check out Ara's channel. I'm sorry it took me so long to mention that. Ara, I always love sending people over to check you out. They always love you. And the bunnies. That's right. And I have like 31 bunnies. Crazy. Oh my gosh. And they are so needy. Aw. Aw. Hi, Jody. How are you doing? Work. Thank you, darling. Always miss you when you're not here. So I was just thinking this too. So Angel D said to J Lord, surely that's harassment. Can the families do anything to stop it? I was thinking that too, but then I was also thinking, but my primary concern is for the families not finding out about these horrible things that these channels are doing. So I don't know, maybe the three of us can talk, and anyone else who is interested in, channels not having the ability to do these horrible things that J Lord is just telling me are happening, feel free to email me at watchtheobsession@gmail.com. I'd love for you to be part of the conversation too. I don't know. I'm tired. I've got to think on this more. So I'm going to have to end this because I am very tired. But it was great to have y'all here, and it's so good to see all of you as well. Yeah. Bet Joseph, I know. Hi, Led with Love. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Oh, J Lord. Yeah, well, let's definitely be in touch. We're gonna have to figure something out. I have, well, mostly hound lops. I was like breeding them for a while, but listen, I've been a vegetarian since I was 14. I love animals so much. My son tells me I have too much empathy for animals, like it interferes with life. I don't know. But so I wasn't breeding them like, I was like a quantity breeder. I just had friends that like appreciate them so much like I do. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting because you can breed them to have certain genetic qualities, colors of their eyes and fur, and they're just so beautiful. And the people that always adopted them for me were just like wonderful animal parents. Felt like I need to clarify that, but it is a lot of work too. So yeah. And also I have our first two bunnies were mini Rexes, Buddy and Thumper. And Buddy is a boy. Then we got Thumper, might sound like a boy's name, but she's a girl. And we were told that she was spayed. Well, Thumper wasn't spayed. And you know what bunnies do. So they started having babies all over the place. And they were so freaking cute. And that's how we even got into the whole thing with the Hound Lops. I don't know. And then I just realized bunnies are scared and vulnerable and they need a safe place. And I just want to love them. But it is a little too much. I'm oversharing. Aw, mini lop kibble. Aw. Holland lops they are mini lops. They come by both names, but these ones are the little mini lops. They're so freaking cute. I agree, led with love. I've been thinking that too. Bye, Truth and Translucent. Have a good night. I think I really feel I feel very strongly that YouTube really needs to. I mean, I understand they don't want exposure. There is a certain amount of liability they cannot assume, or they will fold, as big and powerful as they are. But there is a greater balance than has been reached so far. It is, irresponsible, negligent, really. Yeah. Hi, Maria R. Bye, Maria R. I didn't get to say you earlier. I was just like, she's like, good night. Have a good night, dear. Yeah, this is like the Watts case. With Amy said that it just brought the really ugly out of the woodwork. It's true. Really strange phenomenon, true crime, and the kind of people that are attracted to it for different reasons, and the different whys, and the very different benefits that somebody might get out of following true crime, one person compared to the next. It's really a very interesting social psychological phenomenon, but I'm not going to start going down that road because then I'll never stop talking and I need to go to bed. Thank you, DP Tabe. You too. All right, guys, I got to peace out. So hey, thank you. Thanks, Led with Love. I just was scrolling down. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said, "Oh, I need a bunny. I need a bunny-sized llama." Oh my god, that would be so freaking cute. If you want a bunny-sized bunny, I've got bunnies. I actually did get a bunny to somebody that I met through the channel. I think it was over the summer. I won't tell too much of that story though, because it's kind of not my story to tell. It's more the other person's, but maybe if I get permission, it's kind of a cute story. Yes, the bunnies keep bunnying. They absolutely do. But yeah, Love for Love. I don't even know where you're located, but if you actually wanted a bunny, do let me know. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. I always like it when you're here, and I appreciate you. I know. I remember your dogs, Honey Bun. You do. Little cutie pies. That's why I was saying when you were telling about the fire that I was just like so happy that your animals were okay. Good night, Erin. Let us know how the experiment goes. I love that you're doing that. Okay, so I get like this. Gosh, I just have to end it or I never end it. Thank you guys so much for being here. There is going to be a live stream tomorrow night, and I really hope you can join us. yeah, your opinion is important. And I really do love hearing from all of you. Thank you for being respectful. Moderators, you absolutely rock. Members, subscribers, and if, hey, you're just checking us out, maybe you want to hit subscribe. We'd love to have you back. And you might just decide that wasn't so bad after all. I think I kind of liked them. So come on back anytime.